I'm here with Morgan, and in this video, we're gonna talk to you about how to know when your infant has outgrown their infant car seat and what to do next. So Morgan, tell me a little bit about how's first year of motherhood treating you?
It's good. A lot different than what I was expecting, but I'm learning.
Is it everything? And your background is as a nurse?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a pediatric nurse, so I've been working with kids for a little while.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for doing that. We love our nurses. Oftentimes nurses don't know a ton about car seat safety. What's your experience there?
I have no idea. I may know kids and everything, but when it comes to all the new mom, items, I'm not as knowledgeable.
Yeah, so you didn't get any, through your nurse training, did you get any support on how to talk to people about car seats? Obviously to use yourself, but you're working with moms and newborns all the time.
No, never, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's something that I think most people assume, that because our nurses are absolutely amazing at taking care of mom, taking care of baby, but they don't know about car seat safety because you're just not trained in it.
Right.
A lot of people go into the hospital, I think, thinking their nurse is gonna teach them what to do, help them get out of the hospital. And by a lot of people, I mean me. I 100% thought that was gonna happen. And then it was really challenging when we left because I didn't know what I was doing. Did you experience anything similar?
No, my husband, I went to the hospital. My husband had to install this himself, and he ended up calling his friends who had a baby 8 weeks prior to help him install this. And he, like I said, we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah. So we have lots of videos on this channel about all the things that you need to do to prep when you are expecting a baby, because practicing with your car seat, learning how to install is really critically important to do before you're in that panic moment of, oh crap, we have a baby and we have to get this car seat installed and get them buckled in correctly. So check out some of the videos on that we have for you. In terms of this little cutie in his car seat, what do you understand about when he will outgrow it? What do you know? What do you not know? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I just, the reason I knew something was off was just he seemed a little too big in this. And I saw my friend had a convertible car seat, so I was just kind of questioning myself, is he too big for this?
Right.
And that's kind of when I contacted you.
Yeah, when it's we got to do something about that. So Morgan is right. He is too big for this seat. And I want to talk about the most common reason that our kids outgrow car seats. And again, I missed this. My son was in, to make you feel better, my son was in his infant car seat well past the time he outgrew it, because I had no idea that head height is one of the critical components of outgrowing a car seat. So I knew there was this thing about weight. You might know that too.
Yep.
And I knew this thing about height in general. I can't say that it was top of mind for me, but I had no idea about head height. So in your manual, it's always gonna tell you the weight and height requirements. Right. And for this seat, it has a 35-pound weight limit. Okay, a 35-pound kid is like a 2 to 3-year-old. We're not gonna be carrying around a 2 to 3-year-old in this infant car seat, but that's the weight limit. And then the height requirement is 32 inches. Now here's what nobody tells us new moms. And it comes into play in the infant seat, and then a lot of times when you go to purchase the convertible car seat, oh no! And you have no idea that this is something to consider, which is torso height. You want this? You want your passy? Because kids sit in car seats, right? So standing height that's in your manuals is 32 inches if he were standing up. He's not standing up. He's sitting down. So his height from his bottom up to his shoulders makes a huge difference in how kids fit in car seats. So for him, the other requirement is that his head must be 1 inch below the top of the fully extended headrest in this seat. Okay, so Liam is 1, and being 1 is fine. And so sometimes they have to take breaks. So he was losing his mind, so we gave him a pause from the car seat for a minute. There's a lot going on. Let's keep talking about head height a little bit, because you need to know about this not only for the infant seat, but for the convertible seat rear facing as well. So 1 inch, I honestly can't remember what we got, what we didn't get. So 1 inch at the top of the fully extended headrest, if you have a car seat like this, where the headrest goes up and down, it's like this one. right? You can raise the headrest up and down, so when it's fully Okay, so let's back this up a little bit. The headrest could go up higher.
Who knew?
Who knew? So I didn't check that. I was just assuming that we had it at the tallest setting, but we didn't because sometimes we don't know that too. So it's okay. So let's just make sure everyone's on the same page. If you have a car seat like this that has the ability to raise and lower the headrest, which then controls the height of the straps, it's called a no rethread harness, then you want to fully extend it and then assess if they've outgrown the seat. Okay, if you have a seat that doesn't have a headrest that goes up and down, it's called a rethread harness. You're just going to see the shell of the seat. Then you're going to look for that same 1 inch that we've talked about at the top of the shell of that seat. So 1 inch with a fully extended headrest, or 1 inch from the shell of the top of the car seat, and using a book on top of your child's head, following the same angle of their head, just this 1 inch book on the top of their head is a great way if you're still a little bit concerned, like how much room do I really have? This is gonna apply, like I said, anytime he's rear facing. And to really give it to you in a way that I think most people can understand, you want their head contained, right? We don't want their head sticking out the top of it because then it could hit an object around it, another object could hit it in the event of a crash, depending on how high over the shell of the car seat they are, it could hit the window. So we always want it to be like a turtle shell. It's protecting that precious little head, and we never want to see a rear-facing kid's head go above the shell of the car seat. But do make sure that if you have a headrest that extends, that you extend it. It also is how you make sure those shoulder straps are in the right position. So thanks for working that through with me. That was a funny, unexpected moment for us in this video. So while we have a little bit more room for him to grow in this seat, what you're gonna be watching for is that 1 inch, okay? He's not gonna hit the 35 pounds. He's not gonna hit the 32 inches. So most commonly, our rear-facing kids, infant seat or rear-facing convertible seat, are gonna outgrow it by head height first. Okay. If you need help, I have these little car seat detail stickers. I'll link them in the description below. I wish these are something that I would have had. You can just use a piece of tape or something, but write the key things that you need to keep top of mind as your kiddos grow. It's going to become really important in this next stage because there's a lot of moving parts of what changes because they're in it for a lot longer period of time. So this can be like a great tool to help you not miss any of the things that happen on a car seat. Perfect. All right, so it's time to pick you out a car seat. We've got to figure out which convertible seat's going to be best for you, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through the buying kit. All right, so you've seen the convertible car seat buying kit. We're gonna use this tool to help narrow down what the best convertible car seat is for you. I get asked probably 100 times a day, what is the best car seat? What is the safest car seat? And listen, if I could just tell everybody, go get this seat, I would. But it's not that simple because we have all these factors to consider when choosing a car seat. What's your budget? How tall is you just shared with me your husband is 6'4". That makes a difference in what car seat we buy. Are you planning on expanding your family? What's your lifestyle look like? What features are important to you? That's unique based on everybody, let alone how's your child gonna actually fit in the seat. So we just talked about torso height, for example. That comes into play when choosing a seat so we can get longevity out of it. I don't know all those details about everybody off the top of my head. So this kit is a way to kind of work through all of those, what we call the 7 C's of selection, to then get you to a recommended list. So then you can choose your seat and you do it in a sort of educated and process-based manner. So you're spending really smart money. You're getting the most use out of whatever car seat you choose. So we start with cost and what's the budget range that you have. So you have an idea of open on budget.
Open on budget,
okay?
Yeah.
So we know that's not gonna be one of those factors we filter on necessarily because we're open on the budget range. The next is child, and in the convertible buying kit, we take you through the growth pattern of your child. I would have never, ever thought to think about this because a lot of times when we go to buy a convertible seat, we're just thinking about our kid right then, right? So we buy the seat that's like, right now I need to move them into the seat, and we don't think about how, okay, this has got to last years rear facing to keep him safest, and then we've got to flip it forward facing, and it's got to last years there too. So what do I need to look for to make sure that can happen for my particular kid? Torso height is a really big part of that. So we measure when they're seated, on like sitting up against a wall from their bum, from the floor, up to their shoulders. And that helps us understand how tall is this kid gonna be, because we need those shoulder straps to be in a certain height. So the kit goes into all of that in much more detail if everyone's like glazing over as I'm talking about that. There's a lot of steps for that. There's a growth chart so you can really plot your child's growth. So you can see when you go to buy a seat, it has limits, right? Like the limits we talked about on the infant seat.
Yeah.
We gotta plot their growth so that whatever car seat we get them, they're gonna be within the limits, right? Yeah. So when he's 4, if we plan on him being rear facing until 4, which is best practice, we gotta know how big's this kid gonna likely be so that I can find a car seat that can last him that long in rear facing mode. So that's what kind of the child section is all about. Okay. And then we go through circumstances. So in circumstances, it's, do we have a tall front seat passenger? Like you said, your husband's 6'4", does he drive the car often? Does he not? Is there gonna be a seat in his car? Is there not? We have to look at things like that. What's our space side to side? What are some of the specific needs of the child or the caregiver? This section kind of goes through all of those things that again are so unique to you and your family. Good old car compatibility. Not every car seat fits in every car. I can't explain it, you guys. I don't design the seats. I don't design the vehicles. Maybe one day, but not every car seat fits in every car. And so in this section of the buying kit, we kind of walk you through what do you need to know about car compatibility? So what are the vehicle components that impact compatibility or could? And what are those sort of matching things on the seat that you need to know about? Okay. That's real fun. It's a real fun section. But we kind of alert you to anything that might be like an oh crap moment when you're installing before you get to installing. Yeah. Does that all make sense so far?
Yeah.
And then crash. There are all car seats pass the same crash test standards. So this is something else people ask all the time. Michelle, where can I find the crash test ratings on the seat so that I can compare them? If they existed, they would be in this buying kit. They don't exist. They're not required to be published, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So have you ever searched for that? Like gone on Google
actually,
search for that?
You haven't.
A lot of our moms do and get kind of down a rabbit hole of trying to find that information. Yeah. And it doesn't exist. Or even like one manufacturer may share their results, but you have no way of comparing it to others. So I just want everyone to know all seats pass the same federal crash test standards. Now in this section that we title Crash as one of the 7 C's, we go through some added safety features that some car seats have put on that could help in a crash. We don't know. Depends on the type of crash, depends on the angle of the crash, depends on the seat, depends on the installation. So things like anti-rebound bars or load legs or things that you may not even know what they are at this point. And that's why we created these kits. So we have one for the infant stage, the convertible stage, and the forward-facing booster stage, because my general assumption is people know nothing, because I knew nothing. like what the heck is a load leg? You know, like how would you know what that stuff is? And then convenience, like cup holders, washability, things that might be important to you. Do you think you're gonna be a seat washer?
I would like to say that, but in reality, maybe not.
Have you ever washed that seat?
No.
Right. I always thought I'd be a seat washer too. We have another YouTube video on cleaning that you may want to check out. And I share in that video that there are like 2 camps of people. The ones of us that would like to think we're going to keep our car seats, you know, all tidied up, but we're kind of the brush and go people. And then the ones that religiously take their covers off, wash them on a schedule, and put them back on. So it sounds like you're in the same camp as me.
Yes.
So washability may not actually be high on your list of convenience factors, and that's okay. But other things like cup holders or whatever else maybe. And then the last C is considerations. So these are all the random things that we had to group into a category. So things like flame retardant use, years of expiration. If you're gonna have a lot of kids, you may wanna buy a car seat that can be passed down, you can use for a lot of years. Okay. Then you enter into a quiz. So you use your worksheets, you enter that stuff into a quiz, and then we spit you out your recommended list. So when you went through this, do you remember what your recommended list was?
List A.
List A. So this list is completely devised based on the stats of your kid and the things that you entered into the quiz. And then it pops out both for US and Canada, your list of seats, and then now your job is to take it and filter it by the stuff that's important to you that you put in your workbook. So we're gonna do all of that now. We're gonna help Morgan pick out the best car seat for her son to transition from the infant seat into this one. It's a really big deal when your kid goes from like the infant seat to the convertible seat. It's a huge milestone, right?
Yes.
It's just, I remember that moment of the transition. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, he's grown up. He's no longer a baby.
He's no longer a baby. And he's gonna look like, he looks so big in the infant seat right now, he's gonna look so tiny
Small, yeah.
in the convertible seat. But you're doing great, you're ready.
Thank you. I can't be the only one that doesn't know that he outgrew his seat. Comment
Or
below.
didn't, right?
Or didn't.
We found a little bit more head height, but now we know when he will outgrow a seat.
Yes. Comment below if you can relate to that.
I bet we have a lot of you that can relate to that. Hopefully this video cleared up any confusion you have about when to transition from the infant seat to a rear-facing convertible seat and how we can help you choose the best convertible car seat for your growing kiddo. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.